Working on it. Phew. Well, hey.
Turtle dance. And
Hello and welcome to Gypsy Kiss. It's Humpday, Hoedown, and I'm the magical treasure princess and life coach to the rich and famous. And third time's a charm. Woohoo, we're here! Welcome. Oh yeah, my name's Shelley. My name is Shelley.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's who you are.
I forgot to say that one.
And I'm administrative assistant, the magical treasure princess and life coach to the stars, Toby Younis. Sorry we were late tonight. We use Restream to stream to other channels, and it was streaming to all the other channels except YouTube. So we were on time. We just weren't going anywhere.
We were on time on Facebook.
Hey, we got a lot going on tonight. We got some good emails tonight. We've got some text messages, a couple of weird ones, so we won't read those. I don't have any voicemails, but I'm sure they'll come in before the night is out. We have giveaways, and we have announcements of more giveaways. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Here we go. Humpday. Indeed, Humpday. Humpday. Hey guys, we are so glad to be here tonight. And Sassy, you do, young lady, what you have to do. Because if you want to go on the warpath, that's okay with me.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. First of all, I do want to say thank you to
Jeff and Schultz.
Was that Jan Schultz?
Jeff
and Schultz. Thank you for that contribution.
Yeah.
Please note how Sassy has highlighted our name, although you can't see it, we can, by using the @ A space Gypsy with an apostrophe S space Kiss, and that way when it flies by on the screen in front of us, we'll make sure that we catch up.
Housekeeping, you want towels?
Well,
Who
of
doesn't
course
want
you want
towels?
towels.
My
I mean,
goodness.
for gosh sakes, you need towels.
How else are you going to dry your hair?
Just make sure you wash them, okay?
Don't say hairdryer.
Don't say hairdryer.
All right.
Remember to
Boom.
like this video. YouTube likes it when you like our videos. The Magical Treasure Princess likes it when you like our videos. And in addition to that, share this video with your family, friends, your neighbors, your business associates, the entirety of your social network so that we can
Grow the channel.
Oh, jeez, it's getting more dramatic every time. And then, last but not least, if you are not already a subscriber, this would be the ideal time to subscribe by clicking on that subscribe button.
Auga.
And then when you see the notifications bell, ring that notifications bell
loud,
with all your heart and soul. And that way you'll be informed once we put out,
And in the know.
Wait, I haven't got to...
You said informed and then you went on.
So that way,
just
once
had to
we
jump in
launch
there.
a YouTube, you'll be immediately informed, and
In the know.
in the know. Yeah. So no, we're not drunk. I don't know what happened today. It was just a frustration. Restream. We can see the Restream chat.
Yeah,
but
it worked on Facebook.
It worked on Facebook. It
didn't
worked on
work on
Twitch. It
YouTube.
worked on Periscope, but it wouldn't work on YouTube. So we're only streaming. Oh, here's what's weird. I'm only streaming. I'm using the YouTube stream key, and I'm still getting a Restream IO chat.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Very frustrating.
It's
Very
crazy.
frustrating.
So if you
These
see this
techno-
anywhere and everywhere and 2 or 3 times,
yeah, that's us.
what's happened.
Because we were on time.
We've entered the twilight zone.
We were on time at 7 o'clock, and then nothing happened. It was kind of weird.
We're having kind of a weird tech day. So
Yeah, well, it started.
just
The
be
World Sound
prepared
Project was it
for
may
weird
not go
tech
right.
stuff.
Okay, so before we go to reading emails, we do have a telephone number 202.
202
Oh, point to
815 1171. That's
And,
202 815 1171.
So you can send a text message there, and we'll reply to those text messages later. You can also call that
Hello.
number right now and leave a voicemail. Later on, we'll turn off the Do Not Disturb, and we'll have you call in and talk about some Forrest Fenny kind of Fenny stuff, because he's our favorite guy in the
Because
whole
that's what we always ask.
world.
Is it Fenny?
I recently found out that he has a thing for sand, too, by the way.
Wow.
Mm.
Besides
Besides that.
sand, what else do we need to talk about? Oh, did you notice how to do the super chat? There's a grayed out $ at the bottom of your chat screen. You can click on that and go to the YouTube store, and they'll sell you either a box of many colors or a sticker that does many different things. They have different price levels, and you can choose what you would like to have from YouTube, and it will appear on our screen with your comment inside, and we will give you one of these when that happens. Otherwise, make sure you just text us at 202-815-1171.
And, by the way, if you're looking for a little sexual buzz tonight, go look at the map of the Rio Grande Rift.
And make sure you check out that what's it called?
Great Sand Dunes
Great
National.
Sand Dunes at the tip of the rift.
All right, let's, the tip of the rift.
Yeah,
So you got your emails all organized there?
I guess. Are we ready to start emails?
I think we are. What else? What are we missing?
Well, unless you want to do giveaways.
No, I want to save the giveaways for just before
right.
we start, before
The
we go online.
phones.
Oh, by the way, if you want to participate in tonight's giveaway for this beautiful
Get
picture, 4x6 dye sublimation print, matted and
The
mounted by
dirty,
yours
hippie,
truly.
fluffy thing.
And it's a dirty hippie streamer.
Streamer.
Make sure you go to last Wednesday's video, the video of the 22nd, and make a comment, and that way you'll qualify to win. And hopefully it won't be Corey, JK, or who else we called their names about 5 times today.
JK Pioneer won twice on the Sand Channel. We had to
Yeah.
kind of say, sorry, you already won.
You already
Moving
won.
on.
Poor
Oh,
Citroen.
look.
What?
Super chat.
3D Bronze, our friend
And
3D
if
Bronze.
you're feeling up to it, super chat.
At 3dbronze.com. That's the number 3, the letter D, the word
3dbronze.com.
bronze.com. And if you're going to buy anything from him, use the affiliate link below, and we get...
Look at this magical treasure chests. Woo.
Show them the silver one. Ta-da.
Ah.
So, with the bottom.
I did.
So he's got a lot of cool stuff on there. So make sure you go and
Schmancy.
use the link in the description box below, and that way we get a little bit of a percentage.
We get kudos.
We get he's very, because we
Sends us candy bars.
he sends us candy bars. Dirty hippie, yeah, you won that dirty hippie. I know, I'm almost hesitant to use it because I feel like I'm going to offend somebody when I say it. I don't have anything against hippies. My brothers and sisters went through that phase themselves. I just didn't because I was serving in the military, so I didn't get the chance.
If you don't want to do super chat, but you do want to give us money, there is a PayPal link in the crawl above our heads.
Yeah,
That's another option. Some people don't like to do the super chat through YouTube, and that's okay. We like money wherever it comes from.
wherever it comes from. We love them greenback dollars, Australian dollars, euros, Swedish kroner.
Oh, I love the Euros. I love them. They're so awesome.
All right, go.
Did you play the video for the emails yet?
I didn't, but you know what? I was planning to before, right after you stopped talking. Let me answer Christine Kenzie because she went through the trouble. She said, what were the 3 candy bars Forrest Fenn took with him when he went looking for Lewis and Clark with Donnie? Baby Ruth's.
Babe Ruth.
No, Babe Ruth is a player. The candy is Baby Ruth.
But maybe he should have taken Clark bars.
Clark.
Okay, so email time. This is from Brian Eagle.
Oh,
Painted Grand Canyon of Yellowstone today. He
Screenshot.
did this? He
Yeah,
did this?
yeah.
Nice, Brian Eagle. Hi, Toby. I painted a watercolor of the image from the latest scrapbook today. You can share it to folks on the show if you'd like. You have my express permission to share it on YouTube. Thanks for always being there for us fanatics. Your friend, Brian Eagle.
That's a really good painting, Brian.
pretty.
I love watercolors. It's my favorite kind of painting, although I don't have the necessary hand-eye coordination. I remember having to take the classes because I'm a BFA, Bachelor of Fine Arts, and I had to take those watercolor painting and sketching classes, and of all of them, I really enjoyed the watercolor the most. So, my daughter, Sean, does really good watercolors when she travels. She takes one of those postcard-sized. I used to tell her when she was in college. When she was in college, she'd go off to her summer, whatever it was, in Europe, and I'd tell her take one of these postcard-sized watercolor things, and you can peel the page, and she would sketch them, do the watercolors, and then she'd send me that postcard. I still have that collection. It was a lot of fun.
We should put those in an album of some sort.
Very talented.
Excuse me. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
This is from Holly. It says, find it discussion, then behavior change or no. Hi, Toby. I realized you were out there doing shows after reading about you in the latest, it's not in the Grand Canyon, Yellowstone Park article. So on your next show, could you talk about finding the chest and the possible subsequent behavior? Perhaps we should do the same things we always did for 30 days. Also, what's this put it under the bed? My thoughts are if you or others stopped doing shows or blogging, we'd all be suspicious.
Which is why
anyway.
We haven't stopped doing shows because we know that would get you suspicious. What else could we say? Hey, so the best way to find out what you need to do is screenshot. We made a video on that, what we'll do when we find Forrest Fenn's treasure. And that describes exactly what we would do.
That's my twin sister with red hair.
With red hair. And so I strongly recommend that you go to see that. I will put that link in the chat room. And you will know what to do. She has the same
name as me, too.
It's the approach we're going to take. We don't necessarily recommend that anyone else do this. This is what we're going to do. And if you think it's a good idea, you're welcome to do the same thing. Because we think it'll be the healthy way to get through that phase of your life if you do find the treasure. D.B. Cooper says, likes Shelley with red hair. Kind of goes with those eyes, huh? Isn't she cute in there? Look over there. There's Fenn and the Tobster over there, and Fenn and the Magical Treasure Princess. And these paintings are by my daughter. Those are the Marto paintings. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Moving on. Legal precedent from Greg in Houston.
No, it's Greg. I thought he was Glenn. Coffin? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
If you find Forrest Fenn's chest, consider Sotheby's. The New York offices of Sotheby's is auctioning JFK documents from the estate of former California Governor Pat Brown. Meanwhile, the present governor of California, Jerry Brown, son of the late Pat Brown, has asked Sotheby's to reveal who the anonymous seller is, claiming these documents should be in his father's archives at UC Berkeley. Despite protestations. What he said. Sotheby's has no intention of releasing the name of the anonymous seller. Dr. Kalika Sands of Sotheby's Books and Manuscripts Department confirmed the material comes from a private collector who wishes to remain unidentified. The documents are expected to bring between $20,000 to $30,000. Good luck to all bidders, and good luck to the lead searcher. Sotheby's is waiting for your call.
So we did a show, screenshot. We did a show about that, about what you should do when you find the treasure. And we strongly recommended you use one of the big auction houses like Sotheby's, because if you tell them you want to remain anonymous when you, as they go through the process of auctioning off your treasure, they will do that. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. And it's not just Sotheby's. Other auction houses will do it as well. So
Ron Martin,
go
why
watch
don't
the
you
video.
send us that by text, and then we'll be sure to answer it, okay? Send us your question by text, and we'll make sure to answer it. This is Forrest Fenn question from Jay, Hot Rod Mav. Toby and Shelley, you recently talked about El Vado Dam, Saturday night Church of the Search, and made references to other things Spanish in the thrill of the chase in regards to Mrs. Ford. Miss Ford, I think he said. Calls her. Does Forrest know Spanish well enough to be able to cleverly use it to hide a treasure, so much so that the layman from the Southwest wouldn't be able to figure it out? I'm from North Dakota and could easily be fooled by this, but I find it hard to believe that someone from the southern U.S. would be. Of course, I'm just looking for your opinion. Question for the chat. Has anyone ever emailed Forrest in Spanish, and see if he ever replied in either Spanish or English? Thanks.
Go ahead.
We got a Rio de los Pinos.
Rio de
from
los
Jeff.
Pinos. Cheers. So I don't think, I think with a high level of confidence, I can say that Forrest does not speak Spanish. But you have to remember, he moved to New Mexico.
But everybody in the Southwest knows a couple of words.
Yeah. Everybody in New Mexico, Spanish is, I don't want to say English is a second language in New Mexico, but Spanish certainly is a second language. And you have to remember that, by the way.
And he says he took Spanish in high school or
So
junior high.
see this in green? This book, if you're looking for the treasure in New Mexico, or for that matter, any of the western states, because they all have Spanish names, they have place names in there. This book of place names. And I'm sure that when Forrest got here, he at least familiarized himself. You can't go through Chimayo, Española, Taos, Chama, Cimarron Canyon. You can't go through any of those places and not wonder.
We are awesome.
What those place names mean. Do you know what Cimarron means? Cimarron
Wild.
is wild and free, and so you've got to find a way to do that. And he's enough. He's intimate enough with a research process that I'm sure, he'd pick up a book just like that and start looking at the place names, and El Vado is defined in there because it is a location in New Mexico. Colorado is a Spanish name. It's red. So Alamosa, I mean, you can...
Santa Fe.
You can go into any of those locations, and you can go in New Mexico and
Santa Fe
Colorado,
Trail.
and you're going to find Spanish names. And if you have any kind of curiosity at all, except in Colorado, they have it, like there's a place in Colorado, and if you read it in Spanish, it's Buena Vista. And the Coloradoans call it Beaner, what do they call it? Beaner Visters?
They call it BV because they can't say
because
it.
they can't pronounce it. But I can't imagine that you wouldn't go in and once you're living in New Mexico, I mean, Santa Fe, Holy Faith, Albuquerque, Apricot, Sandia Mountains, Sangre de Cristo. You're surrounded by locations with Spanish names. So at some point, you're going to ask yourself, maybe I better figure out what these things are. And if you're coming from another location and you're not familiar with the Spanish place names in New Mexico, buy the book or look it up in Google. Because
I never get to eat either. I'll have what's this word again?
Yeah.
Enchilada.
Enchilada. Can I have one of them enchiladas? And then when they ask you red, green, or Christmas, they're asking you a choice of chili. So you got to know these things. New Mexico is like, how Texas says it's a whole different country? New Mexico is not a whole different country, but it's damn different. Oh, aren't we called we're the city different. Santa Fe is the city
land
different.
of enchantment.
Land of enchantment. La Tierra Encantada. See,
Sí.
you can't. New Mexico is not Spanish. Never mind.
New Mexico true.
New Mexico is not Spanish.
What?
New Mexico. New Mexico.
Nuevo Mexico.
Yeah, it's not Nuevo Mexico.
Okay, this is from our comments from Jillian Clayton. Jillian says, "Thank you, Toby, for your insights on what Forrest's personal belief system / worldview might be, as motivations and behavioral patterns can turn up unexpected clues. I don't have the money to purchase and read all of his books, but based on the free materials he's put out there, I've begun to put together a mental construct of his personality. I believe you are correct here in that Forrest has gone through a Hindu-like series of deaths / rebirths personality-wise, but I believe there's also a little bit of the Roman god, is it
Janus.
Janus. It's like Giannis.
It would be. Yeah, no, that's Janus.
Janus. Roman god Janus thrown in there, and maybe a tiny pinch of Machiavelli as well. I believe you are also correct that he has definitely hidden a treasure. If I thought otherwise, I wouldn't bother with it more than a month or two. I wouldn't bother with it at all. My parents didn't. They're like, nah.
Not interested.
In my opinion, you're correct as well that this is about making sure his name goes on well beyond death. Being a writer myself, I suppose I should have known you were a writer. Everything is so beautifully written here. Being a writer myself, I suppose all writers have this same fear / desire to keep their voices echoing long after they pass from this earth. A quote by Machiavelli, quote, men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see and few can feel. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few really know what you are, unquote. Sound familiar?
It doesn't matter who I am. It only matters who you think I am.
That's right.
Thank you. That was a really good comment. I love comments like that, especially it's so eloquently written.
Right. Janus.
Say,
I would have got yelled at if I'd have called Giannis Janus.
Yeah. Yeah, when he was German too, wasn't he? Was he German? Yeah. That would have upset him. Okay, hit it.
Okay. A request from Toby, from Richard.
A request from Toby, maybe it means for Toby. Probably means for Toby. Go ahead.
Hello, Toby. I'm addressing just you here because I recently watched the video about Forrest Fenn and the cricket player analogy. By the way, so good that video. Enjoyed it 3 or 4 times over.
Ooh.
I am hoping you can reply to me so that then I can reply back with a great idea. But there is only one quote that is stopping me flat. Do you know for sure if Forrest Fenn did say that the chest is at risk from rain, snow, and or fire? If you were to reply, then I will give you and only you this idea, which you may do with it as you wish. Thank you. P.S. In many ways, I am already like Forrest Fenn, but not in every way. I am no writer like him and stuff like that. So I guess all searchers are liking to already be a little like the man, as we like to be around people who are with likenesses rather than a clashing personality. Some, of course, don't care and just want the chest, I guess. The solve idea I will reply with is all about his thinking for himself as to where to rest his bones and to probably never be found anytime soon. Now, with the hunt, it's a different game, and I've listened closely to his way of speech in his wonderful stories and answers and logic and evading the questions.
Is that it?
Well, please, I am hoping you can respond with your qualified knowledge about that above statement of his or not, and I will then complete my thought and share with you if the thought remains still alive at that point. So he wants to know
Miss Lisa
about
says it came from a magazine article. I can't find it
rain,
here.
snow, or
So
fire.
what I've done, screenshot. So I went to Cary Grant. I went to Terry Scant, and I entered fire, and I got these written search results. And all you did is fire, and you'll see several quotes. There are dangers involved. Things can get complicated. Things can complicate the search. Earthquakes, mudslides, forest fires. You go down to the next one. It says, I don't think the earth can hurt it under the right conditions. Wind might affect it. It's probably already wet. And look at what fire did to the Twin Towers. Then you go down further. Even as the snow melts, most of the Rocky Mountains and icy roads strongly suggest you drive, stay home. By the fire. No, that wasn't it. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is that anytime you see one of these quotes, I have yet to see what I'd refer to as a first-person quote, or the citation for a first-person quote, because even with these, when you go to click here, the link, you're referred to a secondary citation like that. This is a defunct website that covered the Fenn Treasure that claims that Fenn said that, but there's no citation. So my big problem with all of these is unless somebody has a citation that said it could be damaged by fire, I haven't seen it. Is it
Tony DeCoppolo, she says.
Yeah, find that. Find that. Find me the Tony DeCoppolo citation, because as far as I can tell, that particular half of his report was...
Is that Mr. Tur?
Pardon me?
Mr. Tur?
Yeah. How did you remember that?
Get some food reader.
So Tony DeCoppolo, if you've ever read Katie Tur's book on the last election, Katie Tur, I had a crush on because she reminds me of not a crush, I shouldn't say that. I think is
You had
really
great interest in following her.
Well, I want to follow her because she reminds me of my youngest daughter, Toby Renee. Both
she had such a really difficult time during the election.
looks and personality. She did, but she's grown into, anchor now.
Yeah, she worked really
Anyway, she in the book she talks about this story having come back from England. They brought her back from England to follow the election, and she needed a place to stay.
Brad says, look up Scorched.
Scorched. Okay, let's try that. Let's see if we can get this, because I'm still... None of these are Dang, nabbit. None of these are first-person citations, so let's look up Scorched and see where the citations are. C-O-R-S-C-H-E-D. The chest is exposed to rain and snow and could be scorched in a forest fire. Let's see where that comes from. The date is unknown.
Consolidated.
Consolidated quotes from... Yeah, see? Okay, I don't... This comes up a lot of time,
and we don't
listen,
know where he got it from.
I'm not going to be critical of Rick. Illinois Ghost is one of the best searchers in the chase, but the collection comes from, and it's in here. You'll find it. You'll find Scorch, but there's no citation. There's no indication of when and where it was said, and I have yet to find one. So I'm always hesitant to.
William texted you the link. It's from Mysterious Writings.
Okay, Gypsy Kiss, I texted you the link. Hold on, let's check that. So this is going to be weird to get over there. Let's see. Mysterious Writings.
You could probably just look up Mysterious Writings and whatever date it is.
So let's take... William sent a good link, but I can't get it from my phone to here. Mysterious Writings and Nature Makes...
Says for the elements question. Maybe if you can just look for Scorched.
Okay, here it is right here. October 27th, 2014. Oh, gosh. Let's see.
That's the one about the fire in the Twin Towers.
Fired in the Twin Towers. Nature makes her own rules, James, so I try not to be absolute when talking about her.
It's further down. J.J. Diggins.
Those are comments. Oh, here it is. So Forrest Fenn, you keep me thinking I do just love it. Their student challenge and they're gonna D. Yeah, I don't see it, guys. I mean, I see distant references like I don't even see the Scorched. Am I missing it, William? I know what the question is. I don't think Earth can hurt it under the right conditions. Wind might affect it. It's probably already wet. And look at what fire did to the Twin Towers. Nature makes her own rules, so I try not to be absolute when talking about her. Let me just look in here, see if I can find it. Nope.
Didn't like that.
Scorched isn't in there. So I, in answer to the gentleman who asked the question, I have always been hesitant to use that. It wouldn't surprise me that it was said, but I can't find a locution in which it was said, and there is a citation
Did
to
you say
Forrest Fenn.
elocution?
No, I didn't mean to say it if I did.
What word was it
Because
supposed
it's not a
to
word,
be?
yeah. Let me see, what did I say?
I think you meant citation
Yeah,
or a location.
location. I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've seen it, I've heard it, I've never found a location, a reference with a citation, meaning they can point me to where Forrest Fenn said the treasure would be or would not be affected by fire. If you have one,
Thanks, Eric.
what did Eric say?
The scorch thing was said by that one dude.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we
Wow.
move on to the next?
Ordered myself Electric XP arriving Friday. Thanks, Glenn. Brother XP rider. I couldn't think of anything.
You're going to have a bicycle gang.
Yeah.
All right.
All right,
moving
go.
on to Who Owns the Treasure
Ugh, here we go again.
from Chuck.
Chuck. Hey, Chuck.
Dear Shelley and Toby, I've heard you make the argument that the finder of the treasure would own the treasure if it wasn't found on private or tribal land. I watched your video on the subject, but I know you're not a lawyer and you don't play one on YouTube, so I have to ask, what gives you such confidence? Love your show. Keep doing what you're doing.
What gives me such confidence that I know what I'm talking about? Is that what he's asking?
I guess.
Well, Chuck, so first of all, you should go see the video that
you
we
own
made
the treasure.
on the topic called What the Fen is a Trove. And my citation for that is oh gosh, don't tell me I lost it. An article written by John M. Kleberg. Mr. Kleberg, Esquire, is an attorney in New York. I don't even know if he was alive. Last time I talked to him, he was alive, but that was back in 2000 and I don't know, 17. So Mr. Kleberg is probably the premier expert on the subject of treasures and troves and coins and lost things and
Hi, honey.
how they're all treated by taxes. Hi, honey. I
You
contacted.
can call him Kevin.
Pardon me.
You can call him Kevin.
Okay. Hi,
It's
Kev.
my honey.
Okay. Kevin, how do you say it?
Kevin.
Kevin. So I contacted Kleberg, and he referred me to one of his articles. He's written 138 articles on the subject of treasures, troves, who owns them, titles, etc., etc. So what I have there in front of you is the one that I used as the basis for that video, this one. Go look at that video that I showed you. There is a link to this 14-page document in the description box below. And you can see Mr. Kleberg, this is the writing, this is the citations for the writing above. So the guy is an expert. I once mentioned the Forrest Fenn Treasure to him, and he went bonkers. He called it a hoax and called Fenn crazy, and he's teasing people and blah, 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 blah. So, and then he hung up on me and he hasn't responded to anything since. So you can get this article.
Man.
Now, I'm going to quote a couple of sentences from this article for you. Most jurisdictions in the United States follow common law. Under the civil law, meaning common law, treasure found on one's own land goes to the finder. And if it is found by chance on the land of another, it is split in half to the finder and half to the landowner. Okay? That's only in Louisiana and Puerto Rico. In the law of lost property, the paramount rights are those of the true owner. The framework of the law of lost and found property law is the common law jurisdictions in the United States, for the common law jurisdictions in the United States, is based on a distinction among lost, mislaid, and abandoned property. Abandoned property is property that the owner throws away or voluntarily forsakes its possession, and the first person to find it gets absolute title. You have title to the gold. Lost property is property that the owner involuntarily parted, which is not the case here. Mislaid property is which is intentionally put in a certain place and later forgotten. So none of that applies. The courts give possession of mislaid property to the owner for the place in which the property was lost. But let me go back to abandoned property is the property of abandoned property is property that the owner throws away or voluntarily forsakes its possession, and the first person to find it gets absolute title. And your evidence of that title is Forrest Fenn's poem. But there's a sticky wicket, as we like to say when we play cricket. In addition to the lost, mislaid, abandoned distinction, United States courts distinguish two further types of property: embedded property and treasure trove. Remember that line? Trove. Embedded property is property that is buried in the land unless it is a treasure trove. Courts have ruled that embedded property includes lumber company scrip, a gilded lead statue of George III, a meteorite, a prehistoric Indian canoe, old ceramics, and gold-bearing quartz, right? So that's embedded in the land. You have a different problem there. A treasure trove is refined gold and silver, either as bullion or made into coin, plus paper money, since paper representatives of gold and silver are deemed to be treasure trove as well. Treasure trove is buried or otherwise hidden or concealed. It need not be fixed to the land, but can be hidden in a movable and movable. Courts have been, and it gives examples. Here's the sticky wicket that I mentioned. Treasure trove has the thought of antiquity. A find of money must have been concealed so long that it is unlikely that the true owner will reappear before the court will consider it a treasure trove. The courts have not enunciated a bright line rule as to how many years it will allow the find to be considered treasure trove. The consensus appears to be several decades, perhaps 3 or more, and then he cites 3 cases. A 1995 case said it was okay, it was a trove at 35 years. A 1991 case said it was 59 years, but he cited another case, and 11 years was not enough. So herein is the conclusion we've come to. It depends. So if Fenn is still alive when the treasure is found, the courts will consider it abandoned property, and because it is abandoned and because he so states it's abandoned, it belongs the absolute title goes to the finder. Okay? If Forrest has passed away, that's where it gets sticky. And the passed away part, let's say, God forbid, that he were to pass away this year. It would only been 10 years since the treasure has been abandoned. It is likely that it would still be considered abandoned property. The absolute title would go to the owner because there's indications in the book that he did indeed abandon it. After 35 years, what the courts have ruled is that after about 35 years, it becomes a trove. And as long as it's not buried in the ground, the finder, again, gets absolute title. The sticky wicket in that one is that the finder, although having absolute title, for example, if found in National Park Service property, the National Park Service has the right to attempt to to locate the person who abandoned the property to get assurances. That would be resolved by showing them the book and showing them the date of Mr. Fenn's death. So it's either 1, abandoned property, or 2, treasure trove, in which case, in both cases in which the finder has absolute title. So that's our position on the matter. And if you don't believe me,
I wonder
look at the link.
If that lawyer, John
Kleberg,
was the one that Fenn hired. And
you have to
was
wonder.
Just like, being all...
Yeah.
He had to keep it private. So
you have to wonder
Fenn's
because
my client. He could say, he's crazy. It never happened. Go away now. Bye.
You have to wonder because he's the expert. And if Forrest Fenn had looked for the expert, that's whom he would have found. And I know Kleberg's reaction to the mention of this was very negative. Like it angered him to even discuss it. And then he hung up on me. I mean, he yelled for a little bit, not at me, just at the topic. And then he hung up. He slammed the phone down. He's in New York. You could get if you Google him enough, you'll get his phone number and his address.
Him enough.
Google.
Google him enough.
Let's see. Okay, so I put the link to that 14-page document by Kleberg
And somebody
in the description box
Lisa
below.
said she sent us a link. I don't know if it was by email or text.
Oh, let's see. Miss Lisa
To the
or Lisa
Scorched.
Smith?
Miss Lisa.
Okay, let's see. Scorch, the Daily Beast, clues for finding the Forrest Fenn Treasure. Oh, that's the part 2 that seems to be so. Let's see. The Daily. That's the article that Tony wrote. Clues for finding for. Let's see if we can get to it real quick here.
Alrighty.
Clues to finding Forrest Fenn. I did. Clues for finding Forrest Fenn, buried treasure. Sticky Wicket. Do you like that? Sticky Wicket.
Sticky wicket.
If you play cricket, you have to know that because that means
Sticky
the pitcher
wicket
can't knock it down.
cricket.
Okay, screenshot. Let's look for it. So this was written by Tony DeCopel on.
July 12, 2017.
Wow, that is Oh no, it was published, updated on July 12th.
Updated.
Published on March 3rd, 2013.
13.
So let's do a quick search for Scorched here. Oh, where'd he go?
I don't know. You won't do it?
I think I have to get down on the page. Let me try that.
Oh, there it is.
Is Scorched?
Oh, that's weird.
It found it. Okay.
Look at this. What the heck is going
What the
on
heck
there?
is going on there? It's like the Logitech webcam dude.
I told you it's a weird tech day, man. What is up with that? Look
I
at that.
have
And their
no-
background went up in the corner.
Well, the background was supposed to be up in the corner.
So
but
were we.
Agreed. I don't know what happened. Let's see. Let's move us up in the corner back there. I don't know why we popped out.
We're flying.
It's not even the right size.
It's funny.
Okay. So there is Scorched. So it says, Fenn said so. He told me the chest is exposed to rain and snow and could be scorched in a forest fire. He told me the box, which is just 10 inches by 10 inches, is unlocked, suggesting it's someplace where it is unlikely to be toppled or otherwise thrown open. Okay? So that, again, is...
Look at that face.
Look at that face.
He's like,
Look at that. Don't be bugging me with that.
yeah.
So again,
Don't be asking me
secondary,
those questions.
secondary, because we're now working probably from Tony's recording. So that's better than anything I've seen. So in answer to the gentleman's question, which was, do you remember it now?
Can it be bothered by rain, snow, or fire?
So he said,
Is it at risk from rain, snow, or fire?
sure, it's in the forest. The answer to that question is yes. I'm going to put that link so when that gentleman comes back to see this, here's the link to that article. Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Ta-ta.
That's all our emails. Do we have moving on to texts?
Let's do this. Why don't you say hi to the folks in the room, and let's do.
You see how many comments we got? Like a bazillion and a half.
Oh, really? Well, we started that whole thing about chests, and let's see.
What the what?
Okay, what the Trove? Watch our video. It says the same thing, and then download the thing. And if you have a something
thing.
legal that is different from what the expert in this field has said, then please provide citations for that, because I don't.
Do they
think,
see that red line around us?
No, they don't.
Oh, okay.
Here, I'll lock it up here. So
Let's go back to.
let's go back to full screen anyway. Wow, that was fun, huh? It's been that kind of day, though, hasn't it?
I know.
Jiminy jumping.
That's all right. It's Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Oh, we have to go back to full screen again.
Hump day.
Hump day.
Hump day.
Okay, let's see. Video manager, and then we have to go back to last Wednesday. Okay, so we're going to do giveaway now. Go back to if you're not.
Oh, you got to play the giveaway. Or did you go to? I thought you were going to do text first.
No, I'm going to do giveaways first.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
That is the only reason you want me to play that thing with the damn butt drums.
Oh, you like them.
They're cute. Hey, okay, so we're going to go back to screenshot.
It's no ukulele.
I have no, it's not a ukulele. An Enya ukulele, no less. So we're going to go back to the, why is Kevin way back there? Why am I not lined up here?
I don't know what you're doing. We're going to do a giveaway.
A giveaway. Let's go back to screenshot, and we're in the right place.
For last Wednesday's video, you should have.
So make sure you've made a comment on last Wednesday's video.
It's the one where we're going like this.
Yeah. You're cute. Wait, I got to go back to see. So here's what you're going to win. You're going to win a 4x6 die sublimation print of a streamer called a Dirty Hippie. Apparently it was popular. I didn't know it was that popular.
It's got a big eye.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what makes
it
like
a mouse or something.
I want to have a conversation with the guy to find out how he came up with the name.
I don't know.
Dirty Hippie. Okay, we're going to copy that video link. We'll copy it right here. We're going to go to
or the head of a bird.
commentpicker.com. And we're going to go to the YouTube tools. And the YouTube comment picker, we're going to scroll down here, and we're going to put the link in there. And we're going to see how many people have commented. So there are 58 unique commenters, and we're going to pick a winner. If you have already won one of our prizes, we'll spin again, I guess.
Spin again.
Spin again is what we call it.
Oh, and the winner is
Craig
Carter.
Oh my God!
What?
That's our friend, the guy that sent us the sand sample today.
Oh.
What's his House Husband Diaries?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because he calls Carter C. Oh. So Craig, let me go back to full screen here. Yep. Craig, you have won the die sublimation print of my original photograph of the Dirty Hippie as shot by me. And it's the only one of its kind. I will never make another print.
And isn't that
of
the one that
image.
Tony made?
Yeah, no, this is not. No, I got this at Cabela's just because I was at Cabela's and I'm just going through the streamers and I thought, oh, Dirty Hippie, yeah. Okay, so Craig, send your shipping address to a Gypsy's Kiss at gmail.com.
Craig Carter, see? No, not the same person.
Oh, it isn't?
Craig, send us your address.
Oh, okay.
Then
well, he always says Carter
play
C.
the UN video.
Okay, you play it. Craig, send me your shipping address to a Gypsy's Kiss at gmail.com. Where is it?
You win. It's at the bottom.
Craig, we're going to send you the short video of the butt drums. So for next week, the winner will get, it's too bad. It kind of looks, it's chroma keying. But this is an original photo by yours truly of the Rio de los Pinos just above the Toltec Gorge. So as shot by me and printed on 4x6 die sublimation paper, so it has a long life. That print will never again be made. You'll be the single and solitary owner of that print. So it's a very nice one. It's one of my better shots. Rio de los Pinos.
I already drank.
Oh, okay, we'll do it again.
You were busy with your picture.
Sorry.
Tink.
Okay.
All right. Moving on.
Whew. Man, we are moving along here.
Text time.
Text time. We do have a video for that.
If you want to text us your questions, there's the phone. All right.
Okay.
Text time.
Let's see.
202-815-1171. If you have a question, you can text it to us. Because we're probably not going to see it in tonight's chat because it goes by too fast.
So that's from Holly. That was not related. Let's see. Okay, so that was from Edward. Hey, Toby, it's Tony from Idaho letting you know. Letting you know that the package went out today, ETA Wednesday. Tony, I did get a message from the UPS store that we did receive the package, so I'll go pick it up tomorrow. Thank you.
And this is the necklace that Tony sent me, right? Right?
Oh my God!
Right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's one of the ones that Tony sent you. That's the citrine that looks like a topaz to me, like a Colorado topaz. But I'm going to go with citrine.
You got to make up your mind.
So
Joel Lewickie's here.
Hi, Joel.
He says the article you link is in the area of Finder's Law. What if the chest is not governed by principles established in that area of the? And it disappeared. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? What happened? I don't know where it went.
Oh, well, it's way down there, right?
Yeah, but then it disappeared.
Was it a new question?
As I was reading it. Yeah. Oh, there it is. What if the chest is not governed by principles established in that area of the law, e.g., stored property?
For that hypothetical, Joel, I guess I'd have to see the law on that to make. But you're better at this. So if you have an argument to be made in the area of stored property as opposed to treasures, abandoned, or troves, then I guess you could make the case and show the citations. But I don't know why you would go to that extreme. But I'm not an expert. You are.
Because maybe he's Billy Joel in disguise.
Hey, okay, so Farron Young from Newfoundland. This is a really long text message. This is the one that got it. He did it in 260 separate parts. Farron, do me a favor and send me an email, and I'll read it on Friday. This text message is not going to work.
We're like Forrest. Send us something short, and we'll take care of it. If it's super long, we just be like, nah.
Okay, so let's see. So, Glenn, congratulations on your electric XP. I hope you have as much fun as I have been having recently. Did you get my email? I don't know. Who is this? I don't know if I got an email. Why don't you read those? Craig Carter, winner.
All right.
Okay, Tony Brucey.
Go back ways.
We got that. Ronald Martin, Impact. Okay, Skippy. Okay, there are a bunch of emails, guys. We will answer those on Friday since we've already done emails tonight.
All right. People in the room include Victor Fleming, Holly Cairns, D.B. Cooper, Clueless Geezer, Digital Treasure Maps, 23 Monarcha, M.J. Inzer, got those. Kiwis Road, K-Pro, Sassafras, Davio 22, Eric Schmidt, Ob Ord, Captain Marvel, Quantum Entangler, Charles Chapman, Deaf Neighbors.
What is TLDR an acronym for?
Too long, didn't read.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you don't have to. Just read the first 2 pages.
Charles Chapman.
Everything you know is in the first 2 pages. Everything you need to know is in the first 2 pages. So I'm going to try and
sassy.
let's see.
Not important. Keyword. My daily agenda. I can't imagine that he has not enclosed some form of documentation with the treasure saying that whoever finds it gets to keep it regardless of how long it has been there. Joe Sheeran, Mike Healy, Tony Russi, Dev Calabrado, Tim B, Travis Magruder, Jay Kuykendall, Digital Treasure Maps, Zozo Rocks, The House Husband Diaries. Victor
That's what I thought
Fleming.
was Craig Carter.
Nope, 2 different people.
So the House Husband Diaries is, I want to say recently, but he's got like 50 videos up, is a new Fenn tuber. Now he mixes it up. Sometimes it's Fenn, sometimes it's some other subjects. But go over and subscribe to his channel because he's a very thoughtful guy, and I like the way he presents his case for each one of them. He's doing something right now in the area of themes, and I think it's a really good approach to looking at the thrill of the chase. So, House Husband Diaries, go subscribe to him.
Kenneth Hunnell,
AJ
AJ Rainville, The Criminal. I would really enjoy it if y'all had a nightly national news show.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, we would enjoy the money.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Jorg Monin. Or Jorg. See, it's that J thing. Do you know who it is? Then Gypsy Kiss is in here. Jason Hamilton. What if the finder tells no one? Well, that would be very unusual.
We just got a consulting thing.
We did. Mm-hmm. We should play the video.
I will in just a minute.
Robert. Paladin. Oh, Paladin. Logic Chaser, hello.
That's Matt. Mm-hmm. Matt Brewer is Logic Chaser. We had a great conversation yesterday.
Miss Lisa.
Oh, Matt Brewer is Logic Chaser. He put up a couple of videos yesterday. You ought to take a look at them.
Brian Eagle of the Watercolor Man.
So Sassy says she wants one of the decoders. Toby, any chance that they will return? We've given away the ones we have, but they're orderable online. So I'll get some more and give them away, Sassy. You can get them on Amazon, but so I'll get them. You don't have to wait till the next time I go to the Spy Museum.
Gallatin Ghost. Bum Drums.
Bum Drums.
The Bengal Tyler 1980.
So I did find out from my daughter on my birthday when she called
Minorca.
me, and she said,
"Why are you like telling everybody all your personal news?
I don't know.
Your daughter's personal news.
That's kind of interesting. So I got a new grandbaby coming in August. So
Let's just wait till the babies are here.
Oh, okay, all right.
To announce them,
Good point.
shall we?
All right.
Okay, 23 Minorca.
Clueless
Jim
Geezer
Black.
says there's a
brother of
sublet,
Jack Black?
New Mexico, right near the Rio de los Pinos. He was a famous trapper. Does it help her figure out your solve? No, Clueless, it does not. Thank
David
you.
L.
No, we took a look at it, but it doesn't fit.
Cannon. Craig Carter. J.K. Pioneer. Wayne Ross. Admin Ghost Dancer Radio.
Breaking in, the House Husband Diary says, thanks for the shout out. 3 days a week is Fenn related, and then that's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. 4 days a week is personal diary stuff. So 3 days a week over at the House Husband Diaries. Click on his name and you go there, and that way you guys can subscribe.
Stuck.
Thank you, Sarah.
Sarah.
Says congratulations.
Kinzer.
Yeah.
Joel Lewicki. Mike Wood. Which is the right number for text? The video needs updating.
No.
202-815-1171.
Nope. It's right there below us. Right there.
Yeah.
Right there. That's the number you send texts.
Yeah. That one's right.
Okay, Maverick from Illinois. When you start the poem from the first clue, at no point do you veer off to a different location. By the time you get to Homer Brown, you're simply putting below where warm waters halt. That's what makes this poem tricky. You have to read it differently. Thank you for that. Okay. Hi, Toby and Shelley. Sherry from Pennsylvania here. Can you tell me your thoughts on Forrest saying this poem will lead you to the end of the rainbow and the treasure? Do you think the end of his rainbow relates to the treasure being along a path that eventually leads to a place that's the end of his rainbow? Do you think the end of his rainbow might be related to color, maybe somewhere he caught his first rainbow trout? Any other thoughts? I got to say, Sherry, you pretty much covered it all the possibilities in the comment. My opinion is that when he wrote that, and it's in the book, that what he was describing was the end of his personal rainbow where he placed the treasure. And the personal rainbow is always, the rainbow has always been an indication of finding something special, even when you look at it. I can imagine Forrest Fenn is the kind of guy that when a rainbow comes up, he stares at it for a while, just because it's one of those things in nature that has its own ways and means of appearing. I've certainly never read as much into it as you have, so you're way ahead of me on this.
P. Lee.
So Waco Joe,
Vanishing Race.
Zoe was born August 2nd. I was born on 21st. Bunch of
Pirate
August.
45, Mr. T, Because I Can, T.I. Mattis.
Oh, she has a grandbaby coming in August too.
Jeffrey Graychick, do you know Forrest Fenn's email address?
Yes, we do, Jeffrey. If you will send me, I prefer not to publish it because he's gotten progressively more sensitive about the number of emails he gets and the number he will respond to. But if you'll send an email to gypsyskiss@gmail.com, I will send you his address.
And Goodell Khan is here. All right. Many of our friends from our group, our VIP member vault, are here tonight.
I'm going to play that video for you.
So let's talk. So if you're a brand new searcher, what's the first thing you want to do is read the book. So we're going to read the book. And then we're going to also, at the same time, match it up to the poem. So what did this chapter say to you about what do you see in the poem? How do they fit together? So we're going to work the poem and the book together. Now you can join at any time. It's going to be an open door membership. In the bonus section on the member vault, we have added 2 videos that Toby produced.
Is he saying there is stuff in life that isn't worthy of spending time knowing, or that the real test of your intelligence is knowing the stuff that everybody else thinks is not worthy of knowing?
You know, when he talks about no special knowledge is needed to find the treasure, but maybe you need to know those things not worthy of knowing in order to find the treasure. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a voicemail. Let me just check it out real quick here, make sure.
So if you're interested in learning more about...
Hi, Toby. This is Che in Colorado.
Sorry.
I was just calling in and
checking
leaving
it out
a voice
privately.
message to let you know. As soon as I can get down to Trinidad, Colorado, to my dad's house, I have some sand for you from the Bahamas and also Orlando, Florida. And I think there's one from Mexico in there as well. As soon as I can get back down to Trinidad, to my dad's house, I'll go ahead and grab a couple samples of each and send them out to you. Have a good day, guys. Great show.
How cool is that? Jay, thank you very much for doing that for me. I really appreciate it. And I think Trinidad is close enough that if you want to meet halfway between, I'd be happy to do that with you, especially if you got photographs and stuff like that. So if not, you have our address. It's the same address for Gypsy's Kiss and for the World Sand Project. But I really appreciate you going through the trouble of doing that.
Mr. Sandman.
Mr. Sandman. I can't
Bring me
tell
some
you
sand.
how much fun we're having with that. Okay, let me see. I think I can do this. Can I?
Yeah.
So we got a call before we finish. Portland, you reached Shelley and Toby. What's your name? Where you call? Well, we know you're calling from Portland. And what's your question?
It's Quantum Entangler from Portland.
Hey, buddy.
And, hello, Toby, and hello, Shelley.
Hello.
And I look forward to this every, twice a week, every Wednesday and Friday.
Well, thank you. That's very kind. We look forward to doing it.
And I think there's another show on Saturday as well.
I've recently started that just because I want to keep myself out of trouble on Saturdays, and that was a good way to do it.
Yeah, that keeps me busy. So between this channel and the I can't remember the name.
Christy and Mike, Calazars
yeah.
and the Hint of Riches. Yeah, that's
on Monday and Thursday.
That's 5 nights a week, brother.
Yeah, that keeps me out of trouble too. So
yeah, if I don't do something on Saturdays, I go to the casino, and that's not healthy.
My question is, the question is, do you think, or did Forrest Fenn say that the first clue was where warm waters halts?
He says the first clue is begin at where warm waters halt.
Okay, my follow-up to that is that does that mean that there could be information in stanza 1, but it's not providing a clue? It may just be something else.
I agree to the extent that there has to be something in stanza 1. And now, so I'm going to go through my quick pitch about how we see the poem. Stanza 1 is designed to establish two things: that it's his treasure and that he's sane. If you read the words very carefully, he's basically saying, it's my treasure and I'm sane. So he establishes possession in the first stanza. Then the clues, as far as we're concerned, begin at where warm waters halt and end with look quickly down, which takes you through stanzas 2, 3, and the first half of 4. The remainder of it is transfer of title information. You did it. You got cold. You braved the wood. You've got the gold. So now you have the title to go with it.
So, I think I agree that I heard someone say that a possible clue in stanza 1 was hint of riches new and old, and that possibly pointing to New Mexico. I'm not saying that the treasure is or isn't in New Mexico, but I think if it was if the hint of riches new and old was a reference to New Mexico versus prior to 1850 when it was a territory of Mexico.
Right, of Mexico, the country. Yeah.
I would consider that an actual clue. If that was the case.
So the question is how he defines clues. He defines clues as those things that help you get to the treasure, and hints as everything else. I think there's a couple of times where he slipped, and he'll use the word clue, and where he meant the word hint, because he's been very specific that the clues are the 9 clues are in the poem.
Right.
So
you should marry them to a map.
Right, and that those are the ones that you marry to the map. I can't imagine. He also says every word in the poem is important. Every noun is important. You shouldn't ignore anything. So there have to be other things in the poem that help us to get closer to. So if we have clues and we understand what they are and we have a sense of what they are, I think what the rest of the poem tells us, especially in the first stanza, is kind of where you go to implement your clue strategy.
Well, and if he's narrowing it down to one state, that's a really huge hint or clue. I mean, that's.
If I look at it from my perspective, he narrowed it down to one state when he wrote the line, "The treasure is hidden in the mountains north of Santa Fe," somewhere in the mountains north of Santa Fe. So now there's a lot of people, most of them in this room right here, who would not agree with that assessment. But you've heard my pitch before. I have a lot of reasons for believing that it's hidden in New Mexico. So the question would have to then be, why waste an entire paragraph? Why waste an entire paragraph? Trying to tell you that it's in New Mexico, right? He doesn't need to. He published in Santa Fe 1,000 copies of the book. He didn't talk about the Rocky Mountains until 2000. So you've heard my pitch before. I'm not going to bore you with it, but it strikes me that if he's trying to, he didn't have to go through the effort of publishing in the poem that it's in New Mexico. He tells us in the book, and he tells us by his behaviors. So there's something else in that first stanza. I think my opinion is that it gets us closer, a little bit closer than somewhere up around the Rio de los Pinos or wherever you think it is.
And okay, so what I think I'm hearing then is that there's enough hints outside of or there's enough information on media available that Forrest just put out there that overwhelmingly supports.
Oh gosh!
The ways.
What are you doing? You hung up at What'd you do that for?
That was purely accidental. I didn't.
I'll call him back.
I am. I'm going to. I'll call you back in just a second. I made a mistake. I was.
It's not him. Oregon. I mean, Portland.
Man, it's been a day, hasn't it?
Keep pushing the. I mean, you thought you hung up on him, and then you didn't, but then you
Quantum
did.
Endeavor.
Hi, are you? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hang up on you. I was getting a call, and I went to push decline, and when I pressed it twice, I hung up on you accidentally. So
I remember one time when I called in a bunch of times, and that happened.
Yeah.
I called in too many times too.
Okay, so you had the dais. Go ahead.
I was just trying to basically reiterate what you said, is that there's so much information that Forrest has put out there on media that points to New Mexico as a very possible search location. That there's really no need to waste a line in a poem to hint again that it could be in New Mexico. Is that pretty much what you were saying, Toby?
Yes, that statement. I agree with that statement.
Okay. Well, I have a thought about waters in general, and I've highlighted some the text in the poem that refers to waters. So we have warm waters halt.
Yeah,
is one reference, and
I think there are five references to waters total in the poem.
One of them is up your creek, assuming it's not a dry creek. I mean, even if it was dry, probably when it rains, it's going to fill up with water.
Yeah.
Water's high. So I was thinking about water's high, and I was thinking about water's low, and I was thinking maybe, like if you had a well, if there was a well someplace, that would be water's low because it's beneath ground level.
Yeah, beneath ground level.
So I was thinking maybe that's a possibility, and then.
Wait. So let me ask you, why are you ignoring water's high and converting it to its exact opposite?
Oh, I'm not. I'm just. Well, okay. I'll tell you why. I think Forrest is a very good. He has a very good command of the English language, and he said so. In the Moby Dickens interview that he's written many books and that he pays attention to every word, and he has researched every word, and sometimes they have meanings that we didn't think that they meant. So I think, and this is not to discount an analytical approach, like using mathematical analysis, anagrams, or anything.
Ciphers.
But I think he, and that could be too, or it could be a mixture of both, and it could even be something else that we're not even thinking of. But he said before that people are overthinking it, and to me that means to me I'm more grammatical with words.
Yeah.
So to me, straightforward means English words, vocabulary, and because he's such a master wordsmith, I believe he's played on the words that we're reading in the poem. There's like different meanings and maybe opposites and things. So that's how I've kind of been looking at it.
So I think that's reasonable. I think we can agree upon the fact that the first problem he had to solve was putting together a poem, right? 6 stanzas, 4 lines, the rhyming sequence, the rhythm that goes along with it, although I think there's some lines that don't have the 8 syllables. It's enough to make up for it. So that's the first thing that he had to accomplish. He wanted a poem. The second thing that he had to accomplish is he had to tell you where the treasure is found, can be found, without telling you where the treasure can be found. So what we have to figure out is what's he telling us? He writes in the poem, writes all those words, and I'm sure you've looked at them as much, if not more, than I have, and I still can't figure out what he's trying to tell us. So the question is, for me, if I can't figure out what he's telling us, it's because I don't understand the context in which he wrote the poem. Right? The context in which he wrote the clues. What I'm missing is if I'm consistently guessing what each of the 9 metaphors represent, and I never have a context, then what I end up is mishmash. So one is related to fishing, one is related to flying, one is related to archaeological excavation and indigenous tribes, etc., etc. And so I get a real sense that there's something that we're missing in that first stanza that to us indicates the context in which this poem was written.
I have a theory about the first stanza. I could explain it really fast.
Go ahead.
Within a minute.
Yeah, you've got
right.
around 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, so in Sherlock Holmes movies, you have Sherlock Holmes, and he's the analytical guy who can figure abstract thoughts out. And then you have Sherlock Holmes. I mean, you have Dr. Watson, who is he's kind of the opposite. He's more of a, that's just common sense.
Right.
So so Sherlock thinks one way, and Dr. Watson thinks another way. But and so you have this analytical and kind of straightforward common sense approach to solving problems, and they work together and they solve all kinds of problems. So the first stanza.
Wait, before you go on, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Which of those two personality types do you think Forrest represents?
Dr. Watson.
Oh, okay. Go ahead then.
I think, yeah. So the first stanza is, there's a special place that Sherlock goes to where he it's an augmented reality, and it's not in the here and now. It's like he goes into his mind and he visualizes things, how they could have happened, and then that leads him to a logical choice of how it actually did happen. And so I thought, well, what if Forrest is going in his mind in this first stanza? And if I'll just read if it's all right, I'll just read each word sentence and explain what each one means.
You've got 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
So as I have gone alone in there, and this is his conscious mind going into his mind palace, and with my treasures bold, and the treasures are his memories of when he was a child and his family lived in Texas, and they drove all the way to Yellowstone, and those are his fond memories. Those are his treasures, some of his treasures. But I think those are the treasures that are really important to him because he spends a lot of time discussing it in some of the books that he's written.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can keep my secret winner. Now, he said in interviews, if two people know a secret, or two people can keep a secret if one of them is dead.
Right.
Implying that only, the secret is only a secret as long as you can keep it inside your head. Once it, you talk to anybody, or even maybe write it down somewhere, or put it on your computer, there's a chance that somebody else is going to figure it out. So you got to keep that secret in your head. So far, all 3 lines are about things that are in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then the hint of riches, new and old. The old riches are his thoughts of when he was a teenager, so they're fairly old. And the hint of new riches are the hints that he's going to give us in the poem of how to find, the gold and the coins and all that. So that's my take is on the first stanza.
Okay, so your take on it. What does that mean in terms of locating where the treasure is? How do you get from all of that into getting closer to where the treasure resides?
To me, I don't think it's material at all. I don't think the first stanza has any bearing.
Yeah.
It just kind of gets you thinking like him, like, why did he spend so much time writing these books and dwelling on his early childhood? Mm-hmm. And we all kind of idealize, because we're seeing with the world through a different set of eyes, when we grow up and we get cynical and whatever, sarcastic, or disbelieving and everything. But when you're younger, anything's possible, and then when we recollect those memories, that we tend to idealize them and, or not idealize, but, just kind of prop them up as very important memories.
So what if I said to you, in contrast to what you're thinking along these lines, what if I said to you that the Forrest Fenn that is represented in the early part of that work died when he was 48? That Forrest Fenn died. and another Forrest Fenn was reborn.
I would agree with that, and because when he came back from Vietnam, it's not and I think he got 30 or 40 medals. But
No. He didn't get 30 or 40. Nobody gets 30. He got some very high, some well-regarded medals, but it wasn't 30 or 40.
But when he got back from Vietnam, he wanted to go someplace to escape all of that stuff, and he went to Santa Fe.
Yeah,
and that's where he started his new life. He started his art gallery, and he made the treasures that we're looking for. He made that fortune, selling art in Santa Fe. And I think that's really, he feels like that's his home.
Forrest has often said that the most important chapter in the book is My War for Me. And I want to read to you from the last page of that My War for Me. It's actually the last two paragraphs. Waco, I will call you. When this realization hit me, at last I knew, if I cannot enrich those with whom I interact each day and cause them to be better for having passed their view, then I have wasted my turn. That I succeeded in this endeavor is not as important as it is for me to make a solid try. For if the try is sincere, I have succeeded in whatever failure resulted. Kiss her on the cheek and whisper something that she will later note in her heart of keepsakes. Open the door for her, not to make her way easier, but just to say you care. But there, when she arrives, to let her know your time with her is important. Silence can be well understood if she sees an approving look. So now, at last, at least for me, I know. And if no one should ever think of me when I have passed this veil, it will be of no consequences, for I have finally found my way, and I'm at peace with all of it. Forrest Fenn died with those sentences. And what preceded that period was erased, and he went on to his rebirth at that point.
I think, he realized that family was a lot, not just family, but social interactions and just the way we live our lives is
Right.
a lot more important. I think we all do that. As we grow older, we start to realize what is important.
I agree. Sometimes it happens to people earlier when they realize they're not the center of the universe. Right? There's a point at which in your life, if you have any sense at all or any self-awareness, you recognize you're not the center of the universe. That you're really at the center of a lot of other people who should be your universe, right? I used to tell my soccer team members that my job as a coach was to make them as good as they could possibly be, to look as good as they could possibly look, to play as good as they could possibly play. And that's the point that hit him at that moment after the experiences that he had had in the last year and actually the last few weeks he was in Vietnam.
I mean, that was I don't know if that was more, I don't know how you would classify what you just read. It kind of sounds like a poem. It's definitely very stylistic and very deep.
You'd have to wonder. As a matter of fact, the first time I read it, my first reaction to it was, who wrote that? Because that doesn't sound like Forrest Fenn. And that happens sometimes in the thrill of the chase. You'll read something from him that was written in the thrill of the chase, and you say to yourself, wait a minute, did he write that? We have a member in our group, Lisa, and she's gone through all his quotes, and she can tell you where he borrowed that quote from whom he borrowed that quote. And this is not one of those. This is original work.
Yeah, there was, and I listened to your, I can't remember the name of the video. You just posted it about Forrest Fenn's different lives.
Yeah, the deaths and reincarnations of Forrest Fenn.
And I think there's a lot there. And with every person, it has their stories about, life-changing moments where they focused on something other than what they thought was all encompassing and all important, prior to that incident happening. So there's a lot there to think about. That's, yeah.
Well, I know that you've thought about this a lot. I'm sorry I couldn't read your entire email tonight because it would have taken as long as this call, and I'd rather hear it from you. So feel free to call back in the future, and we can continue this conversation.
I definitely will. Thanks, Toby. And have a great night, Shelley and Toby. Talk to you later.
We look forward to it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So I apologize for having. So let's call Waco Joe because he called in. What's going on with Mitchell?
I don't know.
Hello.
Hey, Joe, it's Toby and Shelley.
Hi, Shelley. Hi, Toby. How you doing?
Hello.
How are you doing?
Very good. Very good. I got a few comments and then a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so first, I'm kind of sad about the dirty hippie.
Why did you want that?
Yeah, I wanted that. But I'll
you know what?
I'll run down it.
I will do more, but I promised everyone that when I made these prints, I would only make one of each. So, because it's kind of neat. But I'll do it again.
No, that's good. I was going to say, I'll just go down to Cabela's. We got one.
Yeah,
going on.
yeah. I needed something. I had a bunch from Tony, but he sent them to me all in kind of the same style, that northern states salmon fishing style. And so I thought I'd just try something different. So I'm gonna with the World Sand Channel, we're just doing the sand under the microscope, but I think I'll mix it up here on AGK. I really like doing these pictures, and I like the fact that I make one and it belongs to the individual. So
yeah, I think it's awesome. It's a great idea.
Let me wait. Hang on. Let me address one of our moderators, Ceci. I'll take care of it if I feel like we need to. Okay, you must have timed him out or something. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, and so let me see. Second comment. The gentleman that was just on the phone.
Yeah.
I kind of was, I agreed with some points, and then some points I didn't agree with.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say that I think it's important that it all. We look at everybody's perspective, so that we can collectively come to Forrest Fenn's perspective, if that makes any sense.
No. I think that absolutely makes sense because that's I think what we're missing, right? What we're missing is we're not Forrest Fenn.
Yeah. And then my third comment, I just want to thank both of you for taking time to listen to me and to everybody else because you guys are awesome. And then my question is...
Go ahead.
I actually rewrote the poem, not to change any meaning of the words, but I kind of tried to put myself in Forrest's shoes when he was writing the poem.
I think that's a wise thing to do.
Just a little secret about me.
Yeah.
I love art, and I love to write as well, and... Yeah, so I would like to email that to you, if possible. This is my question, and have you read it maybe on next Wednesday.
So would you like me to read it on the channel? Or would you rather...
I would love that.
Oh, great.
That way everybody can hear it and see what they make of it.
Are you prepared to take both the positive and the neutral and the negative?
Oh, yeah. All day. All
right.
Yeah, I'm not a negative person, so if somebody wants to be negative, that's them. That's their problem, not mine.
Yeah. Okay, so send it to me, and I'll read it. Well, we can do it on Friday. We'll have time on Friday, so we can do it if I get it before then.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send it as soon as possible.
Okay. And the other thing, I was going to say one other thing to you. So I don't know whether you've seen the recent video that I made on death and reincarnation. But one of the conclusions that I've come to is that, and I'm talking about understanding Fenn again, is that we tend to focus on the Fenn that hid the treasure. And he's a very different Fenn. That is the Fenn from 2010 on.
I agree with that. Can I say something really quickly? I completely agree with that, because when he hid the treasure, he said, I didn't feel like the treasure was complete. The box was complete. I wanted to leave a part of myself with that treasure.
Right.
So I think he did. I mean, if you leave a part of yourself with something, you have to change, because you're not going to be 100% the way you were before, if that makes any sense.
No, I think it makes perfect sense, because he closed that lid. It had to be an inflection point from him, because he had, at that point, short of getting the book published and out on time, he had accomplished what he had set out to do nearly, 22 years before. So It was the end of a 22-year-long journey when he closed that treasure chest. It left a little bit of himself in it, and at that point, that's a different Forrest Fenn. And we have a tendency in all our research, I should say I had a tendency in all my research to focus on the Forrest Fenn since 2010. I call him Forrest Fenn number 3 now. I'm going back, and I'm going to start focusing on the Forrest Fenn between 1988 and 2010. I think that's
so funny that you said that, because I was just I brought up my birthday. I was born in '87, so I was just like, let me go back and look at when I was a kid.
Yeah.
What was Fenn like back then?
Right.
But, yeah, and so then bringing that point up, just really quickly, one of the lines that I did not change in the poem was, "The end is ever drawing nigh."
Yeah.
I'm gonna explain my interpretation of that really quickly.
Okay, go ahead.
The end is ever drawing nigh. To me, it means death is inevitable, and the chest, the end of the thrill of the chase is inevitable, because somebody will find the chest, or people will just forget about it. People will die. People will forget about it. Nobody's going to be looking for it anymore. So it's going to end the chase, and then the people that are searching for it are just going to perish, and and so is Fenn. So the end is ever drawing nigh. I think that's what that line means, but who knows?
Oh, I agree. Although I have to admit to you that after we got that question in the email today, and I went back to Kleberg's work and started reading again, he was very succinct about his definition of what was Trove, and how concise he was when he mentioned, we used the word title. And Fenn uses the word Trove in the poem, and I'm starting to believe that perhaps he used that word because he knew that if the treasure was found before he passed away, it wouldn't be a trove, according to the law. It would be abandoned property. But he didn't call it abandoned property in the poem, probably because he couldn't find anything to rhyme with abandoned property. But I'm starting to wonder, did he use the word trove specifically because trove is not abandoned property? It's a different set of the laws, right? Set of laws associated with that it has to have that element of antiquity. But then that struck me when he wrote the word trove. Did he believe at that point in time that the treasure would be found after he had passed away? Because at that point, then it becomes a trove. It's no longer abandoned property.
Yeah. Okay. That's for me from a writing standpoint. I mean, I think he just used trove because that was just...
No. I agree. I think that would be your first reaction, right? I agree with you. I agree that he used trove because it had to rhyme with another, with 2 lines down with whatever he chose there. But...
Yeah, and he may not have wanted to use treasure...
abandoned property. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
How hard would it have been to use that? But could he have found a word for abandoned property that wasn't trove? He could have used any other word for trove because he describes the treasure in 5 different ways. He's already described the treasure in 5 different ways in the poem. So why not one more?
I think it's a play on the style of writing. So you'll understand more when you read my version of the poem, you'll understand more of what I'm talking about. So, like, for example, the up and down, like, take it in the canyon down.
Yeah.
We're from Texas, and I think I've said this before, but you know, we use like down yonder,
right?
Especially his generation,
yeah.
Like down yonder, up the road. You know,
right.
If somebody says up the road, it's not up the road. I promise you, it's up the road around the corner, probably down Highway 6 or 190. You know, it's it's not up the road. They don't mean up north or up in the sky. I think he's just it's just a play on the way he wanted to write the poem. And I think he was kind of wanting, how can I say this? I think he was wanting people to not be too technical, but just kind of be simple. And that's what he says. You know, he just
simplify.
Just simplify. Exactly. Yeah. And so, you know, country folk, Forrest Fenn, you know, he'll say up there or down here or down there or take it in, you know, and to me, so when you read my version of the poem, I think you'll kind of understand, you know, what I see.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. You'll send it to me and we'll take a look at it and read it on the air.
Awesome.
All right.
Great.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you for your time.
You have a good evening.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
So I want to address something that Gallatin Ghost said. To qualify as a treasure trove, don't the contents have to be over a certain age, like 150 years? There is a requirement for antiquity, quote, antiquity, unquote, but the court has used, there is case law that indicates that it's been as little as 35 years and 59 years, but 11 years is not enough, as cited. And if you download that Kleberg white paper, you'll see he mentions it in there that the antiquity does not have to be 150 years. Okay. So phone lines. Oh, it's the other Joe, the Rio Grande Joe.
Hey, how are y'all tonight?
Good. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, pretty good.
What you got?
Catching a good show.
Oh, thank you. You're watching us or you're watching TV? What's going on there?
No, I'm watching Shelley needs rest. Tell her to rest.
You need rest. You look tired.
She's trying to yawn.
Anyway. Oh, okay. Don't tell her.
Anyway, they're all confused about the first stanza.
Who is they?
Well, the callers that's been calling in.
Oh, okay. So let's say
about
let's do this a different way. Let's say it a different way.
Treasure's bold and all that.
I have no confusion. You can say I have no confusion about the first stanza, and then tell me why you're not confused by it.
Yeah, in my solve anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. You're not confused, so tell me why you're not.
Yeah, when he says, "I go alone in there."
Yeah.
Well, he's talking about a canyon. He's driving down the canyon. He just hadn't got to the WWH yet.
Okay, so he's trucking down the canyon before he actually gets to.
That's why he says, "As I go alone in there." Mm-hmm. Okay, and with my treasure is bold.
Yeah.
He's talking about not just one treasure, but two.
What are the two treasures?
Okay, he's sitting in his car with the real treasure beside him, which is the old, and he himself is the new. Both of them are treasures because both of them's worth money. And then when he gets
wait. Let me just think about it. As I have gone alone in there, and with my treasures bald.
Yeah, treasures. He's talking.
Treasures, the plural.
He's talking about himself.
Oh, okay. So he's assigned a value to himself.
Right. He is a treasure himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's before he gets to the WWH.
Okay.
Well, when he gets there, he says, that's the starting point. That's why he told you get in your car and the starting point's at WWH.
Okay.
Okay, and he said take it on the canyon down because he's already coming down the canyon.
After the beginning of where warm water's all, take it in the canyon down.
Yeah.
So is that a continuation of the same canyon? Is that what you're suggesting?
That's why he's saying, as I go alone in there, he's going alone in the canyon.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
He's not just, he's talking literally. And I heard other people looking, well, how far is it from the WWH to the treasure? And it's just a few miles because he can't walk with it, so he has to drive it. It's about 8 miles. It's about 8 miles down and a quarter mile
over to your left.
From put below the Homo Brown.
Yeah.
To the treasure, it's about a quarter mile.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If you didn't know anything about Forrest Fenn's Treasure.
Yeah.
And I gave you nothing but stanzas 2, 3, and 4. Let's say 4, just to make it easy. I gave you, and you didn't know it was part of a greater piece of work, right? I just gave you stanzas 2, 3, and 4.
Right.
And I said to you, there are 9 clues in these 3 stanzas, and they represent the location of the treasure.
And they do, yes.
Could you still find it without stanzas 1, 5, and 6?
Well, the starting point is a starting point, and everybody's asking.
Wait. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. That's a yes/no question. If I gave you stanzas 2, 3, and 4, and not stanzas 1, 5, and 6, could you find the treasure? Meaning, could Rio Grande Joe?
I think you could.
No, not me. You.
No, yeah.
You could find the treasure.
Yeah, because the first clue that I found that broke everything loose was the first clue, and the first clue is not where you start driving from the WWH. It's the Homer Brown. That's the main clue.
The put in below the Homer Brown?
Yeah, that breaks everything loose once you figure that out. And that's what I figured out first.
So you're confident that if all you had were stanzas 2, 3, and 4, you could find Forrest Fenn's Treasure?
And the very last one, where it says, if your effort will be worth the cold, that's just a confirmation of where this treasure is.
Yeah.
And you can find it in the summertime and it'll still be cold. If you find it in the wintertime, it'll still be cold, or summer, fall, it doesn't matter.
Well, no, I mean, that's true because the waters are going to be cold, right? I mean, they're trout waters, so they're going to be around
so it's
55
just a confirmation
degrees,
of where it's at.
So I forgot, you told me what state you're in, but I forgot. What state are you in?
Oh, I'm here in New Mexico.
Oh, okay. No, I don't mean where you live. Where are you looking for the treasure?
Oh, New Mexico.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, New Mexico. That's where it's at. When he said it's 8 1/4 miles north of Santa Fe, well, you could put that 8 1/4 miles from any town north or south. It's still 8 1/4 miles. He didn't mean it right north of Santa Fe. He said, you take this 8 1/4 miles, like from the WWH down.
Yeah.
And I've measured it on the map.
Yeah.
And it is exactly 8 1/4 miles to the treasure.
So,
but it's 8 miles from the WWH, put in below the Homer Brown, and it's a 1/4 mile.
Where's Miss Lisa? Where? Oh, no, the reason, let's see.
She's right there.
It comes from the same place. Miss Lisa, where is it that Forrest Fenn said that go look 8.25 miles? I don't think Forrest Fenn ever said that.
It was in,
well, he didn't say that.
blog.
He just said 8 1/4 miles north of Santa Fe, which you could put that 8 1/4 miles anywhere you want. And now that I know the solve of my solve, I've measured it, you know, the inches that shows on the maps and stuff, and it's exactly all that. And it'll be there 100 years from now, or
so. When do you expect to go? When will we hear from you about recovering the treasure?
Oh well, I'll have to come drag you along.
No, you can call me. Call as soon as you get phone service, because once you get north of Espanola, there's no damn phone service. So once you get phone service, just let me know. I mean, that's all you have to do, and then we'll do a little online call. You can text me some pictures of the bracelet, and we'll get you online, and I'll just do a real time.
If he really wants that bracelet back, I'm gonna see if he'll trade me for his belt buckle. That's the only way. That's the only way I'll do it.
Not. So, how many times do I have to say this?
Okay,
no, I'm not. I'm just playing. I'm just.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna stay in the box.
So here's.
you're going to be doing the footwork to getting rid of it, and
Okay,
we're going to take care of that.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that. So, because I'll do that because I'll get the most value out of it, but you have to leave it completely intact. You cannot even open that jar.
Yeah, and I'm afraid that when you pick it up from where it's at, it may open if it's not locked.
The chest or the jar?
No, the chest. If you pick it up wrong, it'll open up, and there it goes on the ground.
Yeah, that's what you don't want to do. You want to be you want to treat it like treat it as if you were an archaeologist and you just discovered an important artifact.
And that other person that was asking about the end of his rainbow.
Yeah.
Well, it is at the end of his rainbow. I just can't explain it to you, but it is not a real rainbow, but his rainbow.
So we're out in left field again. If it is, you say it is something, but you can't tell me what it is. Well, then don't tell me. We're going to make a deal. From now on, if the words "I can't tell you what it is" included in the sentence, don't even say it.
And on Water's High, I'll tell you what it is.
Okay, all right. See, that's much better. We're making progress already.
On Water's High, everybody thinks it's a waterfall.
No. We don't care what everybody thinks.
And
we only care what you think.
Yeah.
Well, okay, what is it?
It's not a waterfall.
What is it?
It's a place on the map that'll be there 1,000 years from now.
A place on the map. So does it have any, so we're going to start playing 21 questions here. Does it have any, does the location on the map have anything to do with the flow of water?
Yes, it can.
Oh, yes, it can. That's a yes or no.
But it's not a waterfall.
Okay. So it's not a waterfall.
No. Because from the home of Brown, you can see everything.
Yeah.
Right. And like I told you before, when he says no, paddle up your creek.
Yeah.
Well, you have to think, what about down your creek? I don't even know. Tell me what that means. You have to ask the right question. Well, it means that the treasure is not up the creek; it's down the creek.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what it means.
How many of the clues are you interpreting in reverse like that?
Well, I've done them all before, and they all match to the location on the map.
Yeah.
All 9 of them. So the rest of them is just confirmations. The very last one.
So tell me,
it's just for legal purposes that he writes it like that.
Yeah, I agree. So tell me when you're going to find the treasure so I can play the rooster video.
Oh, well, as soon as it thaws out, I'm not crazy like them people going out there and getting in trouble.
Yeah. So like May, maybe?
Yeah, probably around May.
Although you got to admit,
if all my clues don't help nobody to go out there and try to get it.
Right.
But and he tells you it's better to get it after dark. Because where this is at, you can be seen from the home of Brown.
Oh, you think?
In other places, yeah.
So somebody could watch you the whole time?
Yeah, that's why he tells you take a flashlight, because you could go locate it in the daytime and then just leave it, and then at night go get it, so there won't be no hassle. Yeah, and also the place that it's in.
Yeah.
There won't be no trouble getting it and belonging to you, because like he said, if he rented a room at a hotel, what has he rented? Just the inside or the outside barbecue pit or whatever?
I'm sorry, that's a flashbang. That's definitely a flashbang.
Yeah.
Ignore that or accept that logic at your own risk.
Well,
all right, wait, hang on a minute.
Okay.
I got to say something to one of our rooms. Miss Lisa, we are of the opinion there is more evidence to indicate that Forrest Fenn did not write that comment on Sonia's blog than Forrest Fenn did write that comment, including the spelling of his name. So go back and...
The misspelling of his name.
Okay. Hey, Joe, it is time. I give you 12 minutes. That's pretty good.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you can stop me whenever you're ready.
I'm stopping you now because I'm 3 minutes away from closing, so you can call me back on Friday.
Oh, good deal. Thank y'all.
Okay, you have a good evening. Thanks for calling in, and thanks for your insights. You take care.
Oh,
Shelley, get some rest. Okay, ladies and germs. Yeah, Miss Lisa, we've looked at that. That is the reference. but we don't think he wrote it. It's not his writing, and it's not his name. The name is wrong, and I can't imagine that. Oh, okay. Yeah, she's saying we can't be sure it's him. Well, no, I agree with you that he started using the quote after people were presenting to him, because he didn't want anybody digging up Santa Fe in the same way. It was convenient, but I don't think he said it originally. I think it was a convenient use of somebody else's explanation, which he is known to do. Okay.
What if people want to talk to you one-on-one? What can they do?
Oh, and I just got one of those while we were talking.
Yeah. What should they do?
They should do this. In order to start this search, you have to do the fundamentals. If you have an objective that is finding a treasure, you have a series of milestones that you need to meet in order to find that treasure. Because if you don't have a precise point from which to start, you will never find the treasure that was hidden. Call and talk to me about your theory of finding this treasure. This is Toby Younis. What's your name? And what's your question? Wait. Hold on. So we just did begin at where warm water's held. But how does that tell you where the treasure is? I don't mean to kill your idea. I'm just saying logically. Say, how does that get you closer to the treasure? I'm not going to have this conversation with anyone else. I've done it exclusively for us. And if you want to discuss it further in one of our sessions, I'd be happy to do that. I like referring to them as sessions.
As you should.
Like,
it's a consulting session.
Yeah, a consulting session.
So if you want to talk one-on-one with Toby about your theories and have nobody else listening in at all, then you can schedule that. There's a link in the description box below. Schedule it on his calendar and prepay for it, and you're all set.
We can have fun.
Or you can join the member vault, because each one of our members has the opportunity to get one call per month with Toby included in their membership.
That's probably the best way to do it, huh?
It's the best deal.
Yeah.
You not only get to talk to Toby, but you get to be in that small group where we tear things apart and put them back together again.
I need to do this real quick.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and germs, we are, as they say,
afraid that it's time to go. If you're afraid to,
closing up
check out
shop.
the softer side. The softerside.live. Learn about fear, how to eliminate it, and become happy again. All right, thanks for being here tonight.
Wait, somebody made a comment. Shelley needs to do a solo vid on her theory. Toby's theories take over sometimes. That is true. I am like that, and I admit to it.
I talk about my stuff all the time in the member vault. Ask everybody in the member vault. They'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for being here tonight, for all your great conversation, your super chat, your friendly banter and friendship in the chat room, and emails, texts, and phone calls. And for Gypsy Kiss, Wednesday, Humpday Hoedown, that's what it is. I'm Shelley Carney. Yeah. Woohoo.
And I'm Toby Younis. Thanks for joining us tonight. We had a good time. We hope you had as good a time as we did, if not better. We look forward to seeing you again on Friday at 7 p.m. from 7 to 9 on Gypsy's Kiss. You can see us on the World Sand Channel at 3 and the Softer Side at 4. And then we'll be doing the Church of the Search on Saturday night. Bring your cocktail.